Okay, so in yesterday's class, we had finished up discussing the motivation applications of different topics that we are going to cover in this course. And after that, we had also started an introduction to LaTeX. Okay, so let me just recap, like, while people are still joining. So, what is this LaTeX all about? So, LaTeX is basically a document processing tool, and if you recall, like I had shown you a plot yesterday, this document processing tool, why is it so special or why is it different from the other available document processing systems? Is because it has a automatic feature for typesetting. Okay, so it has an automatic feature for typesetting, where typesetting basically means that all your arrangements of figures, tables, and all your stuff like table of contents and all are automatically generated. Also, things like, as we'll see that today, is wherever you require labeling. Like suppose if you have seen in your mathematics textbooks or science textbook, a lot of time we refer to some previous page, right? So that kind of referencing is also automatically done by LaTeX, which we'll see actually today. So, all in all, LaTeX is also a document processing system, but the idea is twofold. One is it has an automatic setting system. Second is the quality of documents produced by LaTeX, especially the mathematical equations, are much more of higher quality. Like in professional domain today, LaTeX is a recognized entity which more or less everyone in the professional domain is known to know. Like in research community, at least, if you submit to a journal, conference, or any research domain activity, you are bound to hit this LaTeX everywhere. Okay, so yesterday we had a very prime introduction about LaTeX. We made a very simple document. So I'll just recall that. So if you have to make just a simple LaTeX document, these are the four commands you require. So in general, you can find out two kinds of commands in LaTeX. Either paired ones, which always begin with a begin, so they necessarily have to end. And there are some unpaired commands, like you can see this one, which doesn't have a begin, so it's just as it is, standalone. So whenever you want to prepare a document, first thing that you should write is what kind of document is it. So document class article is typically what we normally use, but if you become, more proficient in LaTeX, you will see there are different kinds of documents. You could make a book, you could make a academic report, and so on and so forth, right? But for the basic needs, article is sufficient. After that, main thing which should always be there in your document is a begin and end document. Okay, and anything in between that is your content, whatever content you want to write in your document. And anything between begin document and this document class is known as preamble. And normally your supporting things like your title and all come here. And also if there are some extra packages to be used, they are come here. Okay, that was the introduction we had yesterday about LaTeX. And the second thing we discussed yesterday was sectioning. Like, how do you create sections in your LaTeX document? Okay, for that, the commands were simple. You write just a backslash section, then section name. Or if you want a subsection, then you write a subsection. If you want a subsection, then you write a subsection and its name. And if you want something where there should be no number, okay, so ideally what you do, you write a paragraph. And then we saw that if you have used these commands, then with a single command called table of contents, your table of contents will be automatically generated, right? So if you all just move to your overleaf account, so your all your projects are automatically saved. Okay, so yesterday I had saved this my first LaTeX project. So I expect everyone to again go there. It will be in your dashboard. On your dashboard you'll have this project. Just click on it. And so let us start what we need to discuss today. Okay, so you should be able to see your screen. So everyone is there at LaTeX project. Then we can continue. Okay, great. Okay, so what we are going to today start with is a very important feature of LaTeX, which is called labeling. Okay, so Let me give a introduction to labeling first. Okay, so now before I show you how to do labeling, let me just give a motivation behind it. Why this is important? Okay, so suppose I am writing some thesis or some book. Okay, it is like 40-50 pages, and I have written couple of sections. Okay, so suppose I have this section 1, and then I have say section 2, and so on. Okay, somewhere in my thesis I want to refer to the section 1, so I write say refer to section 1 on say page number 10. Okay, so this was page number 10 and this is say page number 20, right? So now suddenly I got an idea that before section 1 I need some other section. Okay, so that becomes my section 1. Okay, so automatically I have to upgrade all the sections. Now this is 2, this is 3, and wherever I have to refer to it, there also I have to automatically change, right, all the references. So if you do it in Word or some other document like you normally do, you have normally written number section 1, then you will have to manually change. If you have referenced it at like 10 pages, all 10 pages you have to check and change it. Okay, so uh, all this has been automatically handled by in LaTeX. Okay, and how do you do that? You do that using two commands. Okay, first command is a label, and its pairing command is called ref or reference. Okay, so any object in a document which has a number, okay, it could be a section, it could be a subsection, it could be a figure, it could be a table, it could be a theorem, all of them use these two commands for reference. Okay, so wherever you define, I repeat, wherever you define a section, just below that write this command backslash label and give it a label. Okay, so suppose this section is about introduction, I'll give it a short label intro. This should be unique. Okay, now this section is not recognized by its number, but it is recognized by this label called intro. So wherever I have to refer it, what I will write, like when I am referring it here, I will write refer to section. I'll not write number 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead, I will write its label, and I'll write backslash ref, and then in curly braces, I will write whatever is its label. I had given it a label intro, so I will write intro. Okay, so this way I have removed the dependence of my section on the number section 1, 2, or 3. So my section is now identified by a label intro. So wherever I have to refer it, I will refer by intro. As a result, whenever there is some change, it will automatically be updated. Okay, so is that clear? So how do you do referencing? You use wherever you define that object, you use the command backslash label and you assign it a unique label. Okay, like suppose section 2, I give a label ID. Okay, so wherever I have defined the section 2, I'll write label ID. Okay, now whenever I have to refer to this section, I will write refer to backslash ref, and then what should I write within curly braces? Anyone? What should I write? Excellent, I will write ID. So basically whatever unique label you give to it, you just write that there. Okay, is that clear? So let us practically see it. Let's implement it and you will get to know better. Okay, so I'm continuing on the same document. So I have introduced my section here. So just below it, I'll add its label, and then I'll write some label, suppose intro. Okay, and it's case sensitive. If I have written small intro, so it is its unique label in small only. Okay, so let me give label to all the section and subsections. This is about college. This is suppose me. This subsection has been told and so on. Okay, and I will now try to reuse it. So suppose I want to refer to My introduction is defined in section. Okay, and now instead of writing one, I will write its label. So I'll write ref. So what should I write here? I want to refer to section 1. So what should I write in this curly braces? Everyone agrees? Intro? Yeah, no, I want to refer to section 1. Right? Section 1 label is intro. Right? So I will write here intro. Okay, now suppose I want to refer to section 1.2.1. Okay, and my schooling in section, yeah, now I want to refer to this section 1.2.1. What should I write inside the ref? Excellent, school. Right, it's still compiling. Okay, so you can see it will automatically show up. Right, now suppose I'll do the same thing which I said. Suppose I introduce a new section before introduction, so it should automatically capture the change. So I introduce a new section, say prologue, and I also add its label. It's always a good practice to add label to all sections. So you will see it should automatically now show, instead of 1 2, and instead of 1.2.1 it will show 2.2.1. Okay, and the table of contents automatically also gets updated. Okay, so this is like one of the most important features of LaTeX. That is, you decouple the dependence of your labeling on the numbers. It will automatically handle the update wherever you have done it. Okay, so I'll repeat. How do you do that? To each of the components where you want to, whatever you want to refer to, you add a label, and wherever you want to refer to it, you write \ref and then its label. Okay, and then it will automatically be taken care about. Okay, is that clear, class? Okay, please, you can type in the chat box so that I know there is no issue, and please do it, and then we'll proceed to other stuff. Please, I want everyone to do it so that in case you face any issues, you can let me know. Okay, just one thing you should remember is whatever label you write, whatever case you write, whether it's all caps, it's small caps, you should use the same in label. Okay, this label uniquely identifies your particular section or subsection. Guys, please let me know once you are done. You can just add one label and ref so that just for a practice. All right, class, are you done? Okay, good, Akhila. Let me get some more responses and then I'll proceed. Great. So I assume most people are done. Okay. Uh, okay, so let me then proceed. I'm assuming that if anyone is stuck, as I said, you'll stop me, okay, from proceeding. So next, what I'll show you is something again related to referencing only. But before that, how do you generate a new page? Okay, so to generate a new page, just write the command backslash new page. Okay, typically table of contents is on a separate page, so I'll just split it. Okay, so I've kept table of contents on one page. I've written backslash new page to get a new page, and now my data is on second page. Okay, now for referencing, you saw that you reference to a particular section or subsection using backslash ref, right? But now suppose you want to also write on which page number is that section. Okay, for that what you need to do, uh, so suppose I'll write on page number. Only thing you have to write is page ref instead of ref. Okay, and then the same key. Okay, so suppose I want to write the page number of section 2.1. Let me just first show you what is section 2.1. Okay, so suppose I want to tell you about the college details. On which page number is the section 2.1? Okay, so I don't want to write section 2.1, but on which page number is section 2.1? So for that, what you need to do, instead of ref, write the command page ref, but label should be same. Okay, so if I want to refer to section 2.1, on which page number it is, what should I write is a backslash page ref, and what should I put in the curly braces? I want to refer to the page number of 2.1. So what should be the label I should write? Right? Everyone agrees? Right? It should be called. Why? Because I want to refer to the page number of this section. So whatever is its label, I'll write that. So label is a very common thing. If you want to refer to that page number or you want to refer to that section itself, you have to use the label itself. Okay. But how do you generate a page number? Instead of ref, you write page ref. Okay. Let me just illustrate by shifting maybe page to next page. Let me put a new page here so that college shifts to page number 3. Okay. So now you can see college is on page number 3. Okay, so three things we learned. One is every section, subsection, all these objects have a label, and in curly braces, you write a unique label for them. Now, when you want to refer to that section or subsection number, you write backslash ref and the label. And if you want to refer to the page number of that section, you write page ref. Okay, but the label remains same. Okay, so before you try this one, as you can see, all the page numbers are, in you're writing them like simple numbers, Indo-Arabic numbers 1 2 3. Suppose you want to like normally what we have for projects is, suppose first page I want to have in Roman, and then I can have normal numbers. Okay, so how can you change the page numbering? So let me do it here. So suppose till this point I want to have Roman numbering, so I'll write page numbering and then type of numbering, suppose Roman. And then on new page I want page numbering, say Arab. Okay, so you can see Romans till this point, and beyond this it will be normal Indo-Arabic numbers. Okay, so three things for you to practice: page ref, page numbering, Arabic and Roman. Let me keep it on same screen. Okay. Okay, so please quickly practice this and then we'll move to fonts, different font effects and color. Yes, Zishan, clear page command can also be used. Typically, it's used in when you write things like books and stuff, wherein basically what you want to do is, so if you look at a book, like you have both side printing, right? When you want to skip a complete pair of pages, that's where normally you use clear page, right? But here also it will do the job for you since it's an article. So right, so clear page will should also work here, but typically it's used in book environment wherein you want to skip double pages, both front and back. Yeah, just keep it on auto recompile, and if you face it's not yet compiled, just recompile. Because later key is just cross referencing things. Let me just also keep it. Make sure you have used two different numbering systems. And yes, as Jamil pointed out, make sure you recompile it again because sometimes it's not updated. All right, let me know, class, once we're done. So just try out what I'm saying for now. I'll also be sharing the tutorial wherein you can have an extensive practice of all these things. Correct. Okay. So I assume everyone is done. Let me just wait for some more responses. Okay, also one thing like what I'm touching in these tutorials is very basic stuff. Okay, so there are a lot of advanced things which you can learn, once you have basic through. I guess most people are done, so let me just proceed. Okay, now let me show some font effects like basic, italics, bold, underline. How can you get that? Uh, so to get italics, you can write text IT. So suppose I like italics text, and by using keyboard shortcut, if you just simply type press Control and I, you should automatically get text IT. Okay, which is italics. Uh, and if you write double backslash, it will move to next line. Okay, one extra thing to note. So it will move to next line. And if you want to do bold, same thing. You can press Control and B, and text BF represents bold. Let me write the keys also. Control plus I, control plus B, and double backslashes for next line, and underline is simply underline. You write the word underline. So this was like basic italics, bold, underline. Apart from that, one feature of LaTeX is that they normally give the font sizes on their own, as you can see. Yesterday also someone had asked. So it will automatically give some standard font size to all of them. Right? You can change it by changing the template, but if at some point in your document you want some special effect, a very large font or a small font, you can do all of that using things like tiny, small, large, and all. Okay, let me just show one. So tiny, so tiny text. Mm. And why I have written it in curly braces, because if I don't write curly braces, it will apply this tiny command or entire document. Okay, similarly, I have some more. Uh, Please just follow me. I'll give you time to try. Just for now, just follow what I'm doing. Don't type yet. Similarly, you have large, and then slightly more large, and then last version is this. So just to give some extra font effects, you have this. Okay, and now if you want to use color, so by default color will not work. So I can show you. Suppose I write color and just write it. So you will see that it will throw an error, because by default LaTeX does not support color, so you have to use a something called package. Okay, so package is like, so LaTeX, what you see here is the basic package of what supports your standard functions. If you want to do some extra functions, for that in your preamble means between begin document and document class, you need to include some packages which will provide you the extra functionality. Okay, and the package to use for color is color color, and you will see now it will work. Okay. So a couple of things. First thing we learned was different font effects: italics, bold, underline, which can be done using these shortcuts or commands. And then different font effects you want to have, within your document. Otherwise, LaTeX has a standard font size to follow. And how do you add color? For color, you write this command color. You in first curly braces you put the color you want to use, and then in next curly braces you put the text you want to color. And one thing for color is, I'll write that in comment, add use package color in preamble. Okay, since that's not visible in the screen, so this is what you need to do. Okay, and as and when you will see more advanced functionalities, you will see for each of the new functionalities you will have to add some package reference to that package. Okay, so please try these commands. I will have them on screen. So I think I discussed this already yesterday. This, whatever you write after a percentage, it's a comment. Please practice it and then we'll go to lists. Great. So all of you seem to be pro at all these things. I guess I can do your spoken tutorial exam for this even soon. But one thing about LaTeX is that you will not get it in one shot. As you practice, then these will become your daily commands. If you keep on using this frequently. Very good. I guess most people are done. Okay. Great. About the font size, Dishan, as we mentioned, like in general, LaTeX uses a standard font size. That means, in general, it's actually 12 that they keep as the standard, and then a variation of it, you keep on introducing different size for section, different for subsection. But if you want to enforce something, you want to enforce a size for the entire thing, then in the document class you can use uh, at the top you can use things like you want to mention suppose A4 paper, or you want to use 12 font, so you can enforce it at the top, right? But typically it's recommended, since LaTeX was developed for this to find a best suitable font size, it's recommended you leave it on the LaTeX to find the best size for you. Otherwise you can within square brackets you can specify all those requirements there. Okay, so there's some more question. uh, Break a line. So by break a line, okay, so what the double backslash is used for is a new line. Like if you want to split a paragraph, right? Uh, Rohit, I'll just come to you. Let me just answer Faisal's question. Uh, so suppose how will you? This is also another way of shifting the line. If you just put in a space, it should automatically give you a break. Okay. Okay, Faisal. I hope that is clear, Faisal. For Rohit, as Zishan correctly pointed out, if you write this command, it will not work for you until, as I've written, add use package color here. Where? Scroll up, just below document class, write this command. What Zishan has written. Use package color. Okay, it should be written in the preamble section between document class and title. Okay, Rohit. Okay, and as you can see, it's just continuing in red. So let me just kind of limit its area. Okay. Uh, yes, that's what I said. Let me just limit this area. Like I did for this tiny and all, you need to limit this area by writing it in curly braces. Otherwise, it will keep on extending it. Okay, same ideology as we had for these font effects. If you don't put it in curly brace, since it does not have a starting or ending, it's not a paired command, it will by default assume it for the remaining sections as well. Okay, so now it should be fine. Right, you can see it's again in black. So the use of these curly braces in front of this is to limit its scope. Where do you want to apply it and restrict it there? Okay. So is everyone done? Should I proceed to this? Right, everyone is done. Please, anyone, same rule applies. Anyone lagging behind, stop me. Okay. Okay, now let me show you the list like we had in HTML. Anyone recalls how do we make lists in HTML? Yeah, yeah, unordered UL, ordered list OL. Exactly. Yeah, li was for listing. Same ideology applies here also. So let me first show you the numbered list. So you can write begin enumerate. This is for numbered list. So enumerate is like your ordered list. Okay, and instead of li you have here item. Item will tell you to mention different items. Okay, so like I'm writing suppose fruits. So say apple, mango, banana. Okay, so this is ordered list, and this for uh, for unordered list you write itemize. Okay, and item again is the item again will highlight to the list. Okay, so suppose I have tomato. Okay. Okay, so this is how you make standard unordered and ordered and unordered list in LaTeX. Okay, so Rahul has a question. Is there some way to start line from middle? Uh, nice question. I've never tried it though. So let me just see if there is some way. Normally, you like later it will follow its own indentations, right? So I'll see if there's some way, like to start. It's like overruling the LaTeX rules. Uh, One thing I think you can do is use centering. Okay, like please everyone try this out while I see that part. So I think if you use centering, you should get it. Yeah, as Ishan pointed out, centering should do. So for centering, you have to write begin center, end center. Rahul, I think it should do. If you write begin center, end center, it will do the job for you. Yes, and aligning is again a paired command. So you have to write whatever you want to kind of align, you have to write it between a begin and an end. Please try these lists quickly. Okay, in case you want to change these styles, 1, 2, 3 or star, for that you have to use some extra packages. Okay, so package is known as enum item. I'll just write it. This is some extra stuff, even if you don't know, but like if you're curious, you can use package enum item, and then you can get all possible uh, like you should write short labels, and then here you can refer to your format whatever you want, and then you will be able to change it. Okay, but like this is a standard. Okay, and same thing, if you want to have a list within list, that is also allowed. Just write same command, suppose begin enumerate, uh, so I'll write yellow, orange. Okay, so this is all allowed. You can have nested lists. Okay, commands are same. Begin enumerate, end enumerate, or begin itemize, end itemize if you want to mix and match. Okay, so everyone is done. Why do you want to click begin item? Okay, if you want to color all this, you can use color command here. Same rule applies. Okay, so same rule applies. You write a color name, and then you give the context wherein you want to apply the color. Okay, great. Okay, so I assume everyone is done. Please, anyone if lagging behind, just let me know. So I want to add the first part of LaTeX by these special symbols, which are also known as escape characters. Okay, so you can see that if I write a percent sign, it will not print it because it is used for comment. Okay, now if you want to print percent sign, then you have to write it with a backslash. Okay, like in programming, we had escape characters. Similarly, escape characters normally can be printed in LaTeX by using a backslash. Like if you want to print a hash uh, or any other symbol like dollar, ampersand, someone had asked yesterday. So all of it you can print by using a backslash. Okay, now suppose you want to print a tilde. So if you write just backslash tilde, let me show it to you. Uh, it will not work. It will throw an error. Okay, for tilde, you will have to keep some empty brackets. That's the rule, because otherwise, if you just put it there. Excellent question, Jamil. I was just about to come there. So anyone can tell me before I answer Jamil's question, how do I print a backslash? Like normally someone would think twice backslash, right? But if you remember, it also has a special meaning in LaTeX. Double backslash means a new line. Okay. So normally when I ask people this question, they would prompt and say double backslash. Okay, but that's not the answer, because double backslash would mean moving to new line. Okay, no, so that's a good guess, but like in good direction, but that's also not correct. So normally we write text backslash, so there's a slightly longer form, but that's how you have to write it, because all these other things have some other meanings in LaTeX. So for backslash you'll have to have this painful full text backslash. Okay, nice question, Jamil. Okay, so this basically finished the first part of LaTeX, wherein we learned referencing, some lists, some font styles. Okay, uh, any questions till this point? Now, what we are going to go in is little more detailed things like tables, figures, mathematical equations. Okay, and stuff like how do you do bibliography, right? So all the complicated stuff is what we are going to do next. Okay, so okay, so there's some more question. Uh, okay, now you have to think. How do you print double backslash? You can write text backslash twice, and you should basically get it. Okay, forward slash I have never used. Let me see. I think it should be with the forward slash. Yeah, like if you want to write text backslash twice, I mean, you can try this. Uh, oh, margins are auto arranged in this, but what you can do is you can use narrow margins. Again, all that can be done here. If you want to use broad margins or narrow, all this can be there. See, what you are asking LaTeX is things you do in Word, right? But when you use LaTeX, you have to kind of rely on the aesthetics of LaTeX. LaTeX is going to arrange margins for you, but yeah, it's going to give you some scope in handling it, but not exactly like in Word, like point 0.9, point 0.8. All of that can also be done here, but you need to understand this feature that we move to LaTeX just because we don't want to do that. We want LaTeX to do it on their own. Okay, but in case you are interested in arranging margins, here with the square brackets, you can write whatever margins you want, narrow, broad, anything. Okay, so this is how you normally print different special characters in your LaTeX. Okay, so so this should, so similarly, you have it for this caret sign also. Like tilde, you need to keep a bracket. Okay, so forward slash is with a slash, and tilde also will follow like a cap. So these are like some very small escape characters. How do you print them? Right? So backslash with slash and frames and all. I don't think you should require in articles like that. We require when we make presentation. You can also make presentations in LaTeX. There we normally use frames. I mean, as I said, you're again complicating typesetting things. Okay, what I would suggest is leave that on LaTeX to find your margins and borders. Just give a brief idea to LaTeX what you want to do. Okay. Okay, so is everyone done till this point? So we can start with tables. We are almost just 10 minutes to class. I would like to finish on tables. Okay. Okay, so let me show you how to make tables. Uh, and then you can practice it. Okay, for tables, you use begin tabular. Okay, and then you have this curly braces, and then I'll just tell you what all this means. Let me use some annotations. So this is very important part. So you make table using begin tabular and end tabular. Okay, now this bracket is super important in tables. Okay, it has three things it does for you. Okay, first thing it specifies is how many columns do you want. Okay, so you can see I have written two C's, means there will be two columns. Second thing, it tells you what is going to be the alignment of your text in the tables. Third thing it's going to tell you is whether you want margins between the columns or not. Okay, so whatever you write after begin tabular in curly braces, it has three things. Let me repeat that. One is how many columns you want, what is their alignment, what are the margins. Okay, let me give some examples. Suppose I write L C C R. Okay, so I have written four characters. It would mean how many columns? It would mean four columns. Number of characters I write means how many columns. Okay, and whether I write L, C, or R, it tells you the alignment. So it means first column will be left aligned, second and third will be center aligned, last one will be right aligned. Okay, now if between these characters I put a margin, then it would mean that table would have margin between first and second and third and fourth. Okay, so whatever you write within these curly braces, it has three connotations. One is how many columns will be there based on how many characters you write. Then what you write in the characters, whether it's L, C, or R, it will tell you the alignment. And then if you put this vertical line in between, then it will tell you there will be lines between the columns or not. Okay, so so like if I suppose write like this, L C dash R. Can you tell me what all information you get from this? First of all, tell me how many columns will be there. Excellent, three, because there are three characters. And which one of them will be central aligned? second one, right? The first one will be left, this will be center, and this will be right. And if you see margin, margin will only be between second and third. So that all information is conveyed by these brackets for you. Okay, so currently I have made it 2, so it will have just 2 columns. Okay, let me just make a simple table. Let me put it, say, left and right. Okay, and then what content you want to write, you can write it here. So suppose I'll write apples. Okay, so apples will go in the first row, and when you want to move to next column, put an ampersand, and suppose apples are green. So this becomes my first row. Now if I want to move to next row, I'll put a new line, that is backslash backslash, and then I'll move to new line. So suppose orange, and say red. Okay, so you will see the table is generated as follows. So let me put a new page here. Okay, so how do you so apart from this, how to make columns and all, how do you make entries into the table? So for each row you write a line, and you move to the next row by using double line. Okay, and how do you write the entry for each column? Using ampersand. Okay, so like if there were 3 columns, say L, R, and C, so you would have write apples. For this entry you will write ampersand whatever entry, then for this column ampersand, then another entry. Okay, so by ampersand you move to next columns, and if you want to move to next row, you just put a new line. Okay, so I'll stop there, but what I want you to try is the following table. No, like if you have 10 columns but still you have to enter data, right? If you mean by this, like for entering data you'll have to use ampersand, there's no other way. Line and all we'll discuss tomorrow, but what I want you to today end on is try to make this table for me. Apple, green, red. Okay, suppose brinjal, purple, green. This should be left, this should be center, this should be right, and there should be a line here. Okay, so Deepak will do that tomorrow. There are a lot of lines. There are H line, as Jamil has written. There's also something called C line. There's that will give you in row. Like column lines you can get using this, but for row lines there are things like H line, C line. All of this we'll see tomorrow. Okay, because we are not yet completed table, we have not labeled it. Okay, for now I want you to end today's lecture on making this table for me. So you need 3 columns. You need a column line between the first two and the following alignments. Okay, just try this, and oh, sorry, and then we'll stop.